Good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, October 4th. And before we get started, I think I'm going to say something that me and Tom both agree on. Me and Tom, it took us a lot. We've kind of come over to Brady's side, been friends of Brady now. He's funny. He's cool. He wins. You're walking on thin ice, though, buddy. Had you lost that game last night, there would be bad things that would have happened to you, but you didn't. But you're walking on thin ice. Don't make me go full hatred on you. You see what my full hatred brings. Look at Clemson right now. Look at Clemson. So, Tom, I think I spoke for you as well, but obviously you have some other opinions as well. Go ahead.
Was he trying to throw the game? Was he trying to give New England one last win before he was with them forever? Like, I do not understand at all what the hell happened last night.
The one thing I will say that was super weird, like it started raining, but usually in the NFL it doesn't matter because the receivers can like switch gloves like basically every snap if they wanted to, so that your gloves are still sticky. Yesterday, passes were going through receivers' hands. Well, the Buccaneers players' hands like crazy. I did not understand that. But I guess if last night proved anything, I guess it did prove that Tom Brady is the lucky one, at least out of the two. Nick, whoever that was, missed a field goal at the end.
Okay.
We will get into the game probably first, though. We'll get into the game first, but we have to go over some things before we get there. But yeah, it was a good game. It was a good Sunday in the NFL. I thought. A lot better than Saturday. Saturday was blowouts left and right. For the first time this year, we can both say that we are winners. This is a Victory Monday on the podcast.
Probably the only one for the season.
No, we'll talk about the Jets. And there were some other surprising scores from yesterday. I am fully in on my boy Kyler Murray in Arizona. They looked really good. Yeah, we got a lot to go over though, so we're kind of just going to get right into it. Also, my parlay hit yesterday, so keep fading me if you want, assholes. But I'm winning. So my parlay of I don't know what it was. Green Bay minus 6.5, Washington football team minus 1.5, Cards Rams over 55, and the Chiefs money line. I was very happy that hit. But yeah, we're going to do one trivia question, and then we'll get right into Sunday Night Football. So here we go. I have two questions for you. Yesterday, Andy Reid accomplished something that no other head coach in NFL history has done. What did he do?
I did not really watch the Chiefs game.
It had nothing to do with the game at all. Really,
I have no idea.
Just they had the win. That's all you need to know. They got the win.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what?
I have no idea.
You're not going to get it. He was the first coach to ever win 100 games at two franchises.
Oh, I did see that. I should have known that.
And then this one is funny because it's almost Browns related, considering Ben has like the best record in First Energy Stadium in Cleveland. But so behind Tom Brady, who has the most wins in Gillette Stadium? I'll give you a hint. It's not from another team. It's not like another quarterback that's not another AFC East quarterback that came in and like does it. So that's your hint.
Okay.
This person has 6 wins.
6 wins in Gillette?
Yeah, that's it.
Is it an old quarterback? Like an old Pats quarterback?
Well, I said it wasn't like an AFC East guy, so it's not old though. It's not like super old, no.
Okay.
You have 10 seconds to answer.
I will go with Drew Bledsoe. I have no idea.
That's a good guess. That's who I guessed on the only reason I'm asking this is I was watching First Take when I first came up here. They had this. The second winningest quarterback at Gillette Stadium, Cam Newton.
Oh,
just from last
fair.
year, he won 6 games last year at home. Yeah, I was shocked too. I thought when they asked me, I was like, it's got to be Bledsoe, right? It has to be Bledsoe. But yeah, no,
I guess
very
because Gillette's a newer stadium, I guess. So I guess it's only really been Brady and then last year.
Yeah,
that's
so
fair.
I was very surprised at that, but honestly, it was a really good Sunday of football. So let's just hop right into it. I'm actually excited. The Browns didn't look like shit, but like always, we'll save our 2 games for the end, and then we'll work our way backwards for the most part. So let's kind of start out and actually go over the game that happened last night with the Pats and the Bucks. The one thing I came out of there thinking is, it's going to be insufferable to listen to massholes say that Mac Jones is just the next coming of Tom Brady. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be awful.
Well, hang on. Before we say or talk about anything else, we have to talk about the comment someone made yesterday. I think it was not a Jets fan. He asked the bonus question, would Tom Brady get booed? And everyone said, no, there's no shot. There's no chance. Tom Brady got booed.
Yeah, which is
talk
crazy.
About classless fans. Like, Jesus Christ.
Like, and it's I don't know if you watched it, but like I think there was a couple they did in like the end of the third quarter where they brought up, like right before they went back into the game, it was commercial. They brought up like these supposed quotes. I'm guessing they're fake because if they're real, they're like, these people have serious issues. But yeah, they would bring up like what Tom Brady leaving was, and not like 75 to 80% of it was like, yeah, he screwed us, he left us. It's like my ex-boyfriend getting married. I'm like, dude, it's just unbelievable that they don't realize how good they have had it for the last 20 years. Like, they don't get it. Like, Tom Brady took pay cuts to keep the Super Bowl teams intact. No other quarterback is ever going to do that, especially with how much money is getting thrown around nowadays. No quarterback is going to do that. So, like, them just being not, like, just thankful for, like, actually booing him, like, it's just, like,
it's unfathomable to think that they would have fucking booed him. I am dumbfounded.
I just don't get it. I don't get their, like, what do you mean? Like he left us. Yeah, he left you. He won you 6 Super Bowls. And then, like, at the end of his career, when he wasn't, like, when he was kind of wanted to go actually have fun and play football, he left Bill Belichick's system. So you're just going to idiots. They're just.
And Belichick and Kraft, like, they messed that whole situation up. It wasn't Brady's fault. No. I mean, like, yeah, they still wanted him back, but they were also trying to get him to take like a $10 or $20 million pay cut to stay. They wanted to pay him $10 million, which I guess is nothing to slouch at. But, like, that's like the same size contract as a rookie contract.
So we'll get into the game in a second. I kind of just thought of this. Like, how many more years do we think Tom Brady will play for? And maybe not that's the question, but, like, it's possible that Tom Brady, like, could be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL for 2 more years. Like, that wouldn't shock you. So, like, if you were starting a franchise right now, like, and you get your pick of the, like, litter in the quarterbacks, like, how high up would you take Brady right now? Because he's super old, but you also got to think, if he can play like this for 2 more years, you're set. Then you can draft someone or whatever. So like, where, like, right now, where would you rank him along with, like, the Mahomes, the Josh Allens, the Herberts, those guys, I guess? Because for 2 years, I mean, other than maybe Patrick Mahomes, like, I don't know if I'd take anyone over him.
Then Brady, I mean, if you're rebuilding the NFL, like, if it was a fantasy draft in Madden and every player is entered into the lottery pool, and looking long term, right? I think Brady would go a little lower under some of the younger guys. So like I
Yeah,
think Allen would go first. I think Herbert would go first. First, I should say, like before Brady.
yeah,
Like I think some of those younger guys who are on that like stardom level would go before him because they're young, right? But then you get into the older kind of quarterbacks with Brady, Rodgers. I think is 37 or 38. I would classify Russell Wilson even because he's like 32, 33 right now. Derek Carr, I think, is 30. Tannehill is somewhere in the 30s. So, like, over all of those guys, I would take Brady before because you're going to get – I think he could play, honestly, as long as he wants to play for. Like, I think that he will play until 50 if he really wants to. Like, I don't see him slowing down year to year. Like, we're all waiting for that Peyton Manning type year where Tom Brady falls off the edge of the earth. I really don't see when that happens. Yeah, his arm gives out. He's already not mobile, but like he's still. I saw the one bootleg he ran last night to extend the play out of the pocket. I'm like, this guy is like 27 years old again. What the hell is this?
Yeah, but there was a point I think in the fourth quarter where he rushed for a 6-yard gain and got a first down, and he had more rushing yards than the Patriots. Total.
Yeah. So like with all of that going on, like I really don't know when Brady is going to be done. Everyone's been talking about how he's going to fall off at some point soon. I just really don't see it at this point. So yeah, I would take Tom Brady over a bunch of those other guys. Maybe Russell Wilson's the last guy I think I would before him. Brady will go before everyone else that I mentioned, except maybe Russell Wilson, but even that's a toss-up.
I don't know. Yeah, I think I'd take him over Russell Wilson.
The
only reason I think about this is because obviously you're going to put the guys like Mahomes is obviously draft him, Allen, Herbert, probably Lamar Jackson, Kyler, those guys. But so I kind of look at Baker as like that is the middle point for like the young guys and then the older-ish guys. I'm at the point now where this doesn't help that Baker played terrible yesterday, but I would take Tom Brady over Baker Mayfield right now.
Actually, I said Russell Wilson might be the last guy I'd take over Brady, but I would probably still go Brady there. I think the true last older style quarterback that I would take over Brady might be Stafford because he's 30 and which is 2 years younger, I guess, than Wilson. But I think that he's got a little more game. Brady, I think he's a better quarterback than Stafford. But if you were going to go with an older guy who's younger than Brady, I think the last cutoff point would be Stafford.
Yeah, he's got the traits. Yeah, I like him. Well, we both said we like Stafford, but we'll get into that. So not really much to talk about the game. Mac Jones looked good, but at the same time, it was very odd watching Mac Jones take the snaps. It was a mirror image of Peyton Manning, or not Peyton Manning, Tom Brady in a Patriots uniform. It was a mirror image, which I put on the outline. Is New England just a system? It's very possible that it is. So other than that, I think Folks' name missed a field goal at the end, so you kind of got to feel bad for him, but I don't. So
I don't.
Yeah. Whatever. We'll move on. What's up next? All right, the Chiefs and the Eagles. Chiefs pulled out a win, 42-30. I'll let you kind of take this one for now. I got some things to say at the end. I guess I was saying we all knew this was coming. I actually thought they beat them worse. But yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah, the Eagles put up more points than I think anyone really thought they would. Mahomes' touchdown right at the end to put them into the 40s absolutely destroyed me in fantasy. I would be winning right now if it weren't for that. Instead of having to play my kicker, but I don't really know what else to say. The Chiefs are going to be the Chiefs. They're going to be okay. Yes, they were bottom of the division, but they're not really bottom of the division. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, they were. They were always going to be okay. I will say that they don't look. Well, they definitely in the AFC, especially this year, with how many decent teams there are. Like they definitely don't look like the clear and far and away favorites. Actually, right now, I'd probably say my favorite in the AFC is probably the Bills, and then I would probably go second the Browns, and then I would probably go with the Chiefs if I was power ranking them right now. But yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I could have the heart to put the Browns over the Chiefs. I think it's close between the two.
That's because you're an idiot. It's because you don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, no, I mean the Chiefs were going to do it. The only thing I will say is Patrick Mahomes doesn't look like Patrick Mahomes of the last 2 years. I don't know what's different. It's not like it's a major difference. But the things he used to do so effortlessly and look like he was doing effortlessly seem like they are getting harder for him this year. And that's obviously was going to come in time with defenses figuring him out. But he just doesn't look the same. Yeah, it was also a win for them, but they didn't impress me. I mean, other than Tyreek Hill, who had almost 200 yards receiving, 11 receptions, and 3 touchdowns, Travis Kelce didn't look that good. That defense gave up 30 points to the Eagles. I don't know. I'm not very sold on the Chiefs this year. And then on the Eagles side of things, I almost feel bad for the Eagles. Jalen Hurts played really well yesterday, but unless something crazy happens where he ends up playing and being kind of like Kyler, or you could see him in the next year and a half evolving into a guy like Kyler. Other than that, I just can't. I don't think you can go forward with him as the quarterback. I just don't think you can. If you want to win a Super Bowl, you can't go forward with Jalen Hurts as your quarterback.
Man, I don't know. You and I have had the discussion about Jalen Hurts a lot. I remember during draft time last year.
I'll say, I've been incredibly impressed. I've been incredibly impressed, and I mean, he's had games where he's been really bad. I think him and Devonta Smith have a really good relationship. I mean, Devonta Smith had 122 yards yesterday. But I just don't think he can win a Super Bowl. I'm starting to think I don't think Baker Mayfield can win a Super Bowl. So I mean, these are the things I'm saying. I just don't know. He's going to get hurt. I don't know. I mean, I know. Like I said, you like him, and I think he's talented. I just don't know how you go forward with him.
Yeah, I think that a lot of his situation right now is just not good. I said it when he was drafted there. I hated the fact that he was put on the Eagles. And that was back when they had Wentz, and he was behind them and fighting for a spot, and I thought he was good enough to start. We're now seeing that he's good enough to start. But the other factor of why I was pissed he went to the Eagles, other than the fact that I despise the Eagles, was the fact that they don't have a good team. They don't have receivers. They don't have good pass catchers. They don't have an offensive line because all of them are old except for Landon Dickerson now. They don't have a good defense to get him the ball more times or stop anyone so he doesn't have to put up 30 or 40 points, in this case, 42 points to win a game. The Eagles are just in a bad spot, and yes, they've won some games thus far, but I said at the beginning of the season, I thought the Eagles might have been in the worst spot since. Now that has ceased to be a bad take, but they're still in a really bad spot because they don't really have a future. They're playing well for now, but they have no cap space. Most of their team is old, and they really have a lot of draft going forward.
Yeah, no.
So
yeah.
if they traded Hurts and got a bunch of stuff for the future, I think Hurts could go back and be a top 10 quarterback in the league. I really do. If you put him on a team like the Broncos, where they have a good defense, they have weapons, and they have offensive line, he could look as good, if not better, than Teddy Bridgewater does now.
I don't know. I respect that. I mean, you think Jalen Hurts is that much better than Drew Lock? Because I don't.
I do.
I don't think he's that much better than
Drew Lock lost his spot to Bridgewater.
I'm just saying, I don't think Jalen Hurts is that much better. I don't know.
I talked about Drew Lock on here. I love Drew Lock. I wanted him to get traded when they brought in Teddy. Maybe that's the trade. Maybe that's the trade. Trade Drew Lock for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I mean That probably works, I guess. But then Jalen sits behind. Well, no, Bridgewater's hurt. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just never going to be a believer in Hurts until I don't know. Maybe probably wins a Super Bowl or just goes into the Hall of Fame, and then I'll probably be like, okay, yeah, he was pretty good. On to the next one. And it is very weird, and this is just like more of like a height thing and a big bodies thing that I think you need for football. It's so weird to me that and it wasn't their fault. He was the only receiver on the board, but Devonta Smith is their best receiver, and he's a twig. Like they don't have any of these big physical receivers that like you need sometimes, especially in the red zone. But
that's why they have the two tight and Ertz. They make up for it.
Yeah. All right, Green Bay versus Pittsburgh.
I think you skipped a game on the outline, homie. Cards game. Rams.
Rams Cardinals. I did. Well, that is funny because I thought I did that. Yeah, whatever. Okay, I did skip it. All right. I guess I'll ask you. I believe they are. Are the Cardinals a real contender?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone was talking about the Rams being the best team in the league after last week's win over this. And they are, I think, someone say the Cardinals are the most complete team in the NFL after this win. I still think that's the Rams, but the two are just insanely like those two are the two front runners for the Super Bowl this year. I think it was a great game. I watched most of it because Red Zone only cuts down to 3 or 4 games or whatever. So once the Jet game was over, I flipped over to the Rams Cardinals on my side screen, and it was a really good game. I loved watching the two teams split out. I loved watching D-Hop on Ramsey again because that is always a great matchup. I just everything was great about it, in honesty.
Yeah, I was a big Cardinals guy, big Kyler Murray guy. I thought the Rams were going to swat. I thought they were going to kill him. I was surprised, and this just shows you like it's not going to happen every time, but when you bring in a coach who's a really good play caller, like Max Williams had 2 huge. I think they were screens, both of them, but he had 2 huge plays yesterday. Both running backs, who Chase Edmonds and James Conner, both didn't have good years last year and really haven't been amazing already this year. Both had great games because of the game plan they drew up, and then obviously they draw up their offensive game plan based around Kyler Murray, where they let him roll out of the pocket, they move the pocket, they do what they can. Kyler Murray also, I heard the stat the other day, like he's one of the only quarterbacks, when he's in bounds, like he's one of the top ranked quarterbacks that won't get hit. He hasn't been hit a lot during his NFL career. So if he keeps doing that, that's good. He was really good. James Conner and Chase Edmonds were really good. That defense is just filled with athletes. They don't play positions. It's just athletes. Buda Baker, Isaiah Simmons, Byron Murphy might make the jump this year to one of the best corners in the league. They're young on defense, they're young on offense, and they're good. They're very good. So I loved that. And then the Rams. What are you gonna say about the Rams? They just weren't their regular selves.
Yeah, the chemistry between Kupp and Ford was yesterday, and made a couple of mistakes. I remember watching. There was one drive was in the room, basically on the end zone, and it was supposed to be a quick out and a deep out, and Ford threw the ball out of bounds. And even the announcers were "This year so far has been amazing." That's been the. I think you're right. I think it was. And I still think that the favorite, even after this game.
You still think that the favorite? You still think they're the favorite?
I think the Rams are the favorite.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I feel that. I'll probably look after this, or maybe if we have time, I'll look at this. But I wonder what the futures are on that, because I would think that the NFC West winner would have to be between them and the Rams. It's got to be pretty close, I would think. But yeah, nothing else on this one other than it was like we said, it was an awesome game. It's an awesome game. It's just fun. It was a fun game. Kyler Murray is just fun to watch, and the Rams offense is fun to watch as well. But now back to who was I on? Green Bay at Pittsburgh. This is just I don't really have much to say about Green Bay other than I think they're now contenders in the NFC. Aaron Rodgers seems plugged in, unlike he was over the offseason, but he seems plugged in. So I focus a lot of this on the Steelers. The Steelers' offensive line it's so bad. It's almost beyond belief how bad they are. And when you have a quarterback like Big Ben, it makes it 100 times worse. The Steelers, so this is what I was going to say and kind of ask. Like, the Steelers are in a terrible situation. Like, there's going to come a point this year where you can't put Ben Roethlisberger out there. Like, you just can't. He's going to get seriously injured or he's going to throw 4 interceptions. Like, there's going to come a point of that. But you also feel like you probably owe it to Roethlisberger to keep him in, give him his last year. And there's really no one behind him to test him. But, like, if Ben Roethlisberger is playing like this and he plays like this in every game, they'll be lucky to win 3 or 4 games. He's been horrible.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the team that stuck to me that they should a win now mode. If that makes, I think they're lining up to have one of the Steelers like mini rebuilds where they need a piece or two and then they'll be good again. I think they found their running back because Najee Harris looks amazing. I think they have young receiving core because Claypool and Johnson, Juju's a little bit older, but is still really young. And James Washington, I really like to get traded because he's not getting playing time behind the other 3. Juju could walk because I think he is only on a 1 deal. If am I wrong on that?
I'm pretty sure you're right, and he is going to walk. I mean,
the Steelers brought him back in the first place.
What did you say? Sorry, I was trying to talk.
The Steelers shouldn't have brought him back in the place.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know the Raiders go.
Yeah, you're lagging a little bit. I didn't hear what you last said.
The Ravens threw money, a ton of money at Juju, and to try and get him to walk, and it was a mistake.
Yeah, I don't know what like if you're Pittsburgh, I just don't know what you do. I don't know what you do because I guess maybe you just keep playing Big Ben until he gets injured or something like that, and he can't play anymore, and then hope you end up with a high draft pick, which you should. But yeah, I give him credit for this. He looked better this week than he did last week. So, I mean, good for him. But, I mean, last week was disgusting. All right, on to the Ravens and the Broncos. The Ravens win 23-7, another barn burner. Lamar was he was okay. He was pretty good. Marquise Brown didn't drop 75,000 passes, so that was good as well. Their defense played well, but I don't think this is I think this is a hollow win for the Ravens. I mean, we all kind of thought the Broncos weren't very good anyways. They just started out easy. So yeah, it didn't surprise me. I will say, did you see what happened at the end of this game?
Well, with Bridgewater getting hurt?
No. So before the game, the Ravens had rushed for over 100 yards in like 142 straight games. And they were about to they wanted to break the record apparently. And so they got the ball back with like 9 seconds left, and instead of kneeling it, they ran it, tried to get to 5 yards, got to 5 yards, but I just thought it was, I mean, like, who cares? I mean, who cares? But clearly the Harbaughs do.
What record did they break?
Oh yeah, games in a row with 100 yards rushing. It might be not
Stupid.
142.
That
It
is
might be,
very stupid.
yeah, it might be like 41 and 42. I don't know, but yeah. So they instead of kneeling it, they ran. Lamar Jackson ran for 5 yards, which is also very smart by Jim Harbaugh. Like, yeah, let's have our quarterback do this instead of the running back who you can afford to get hurt. Well, you know what? I can take it back. They can't afford to have another running back hurt because then we have no running backs.
Yeah. And Lamar is probably best suited to get that.
Yeah, whatever. All right. Who's next? Giants and Saints. I'll let you take this one. I had no idea what happened in this game. I didn't feel like really looking it up, but Giants won 34-30, or was it 35-30? No, maybe not. That was a score, a different game.
3-17.
23-17. Okay. So what happened? I mean, the Giants clearly aren't good, but
yeah, no, the Giants aren't. The Saints look like they were week. The offense that everyone to be great just hasn't been. Jameis couldn't get anything going. Kamara, I knew he had 100 yards is good. Like, not really the best kind of stat line for Kamara we've ever seen. The Giants' defense just looked really good, especially the line. They were getting a lot. They were getting to Kamara a lot. And then, they went to overtime and got the ball. I don't know if you saw the of Jabril Peppers when they won the toss.
what was it?
They won the toss or whatever, and it's Jabril Peppers and I forget who was out for the Saints. Calls tails or whatever. Cole goes in, goes tails. He goes, boom! We want that ever. And like he's and the what's great about it was the mic on the ref caught it, so it went through the entire stadium. Hilarious.
That's awesome.
But,
I'm enjoying. Yes, I have to look that up on YouTube.
Yeah, like there's no Giants were losing that game after that, like 0%. So they marched down quickly, gets the 6-yard score to end the. He had 2 touchdowns on the day, so pop off game for Saquon. But that was just a game by the Saints. It was horrible.
Pop off game for Saquon. Let's hold your horses on that one.
2 times.
Yeah, he had 2 receiving touchdowns.
No, it was a 6-yard rushing touchdown.
You're incorrect.
I am not. We'll go back and look it up. I'll look up a stat line.
Please do.
Oh, it was 27-21. Okay, that's 27-21 in overtime.
No, it wasn't.
I have the score here. 27-21.
I don't believe you.
The stats. Saquon Barkley rushing. He ran for 13 times for 52 yards and a touchdown. And receiving, he had 5 catches for 74 yards and a touchdown. So 1-1.
It's rigged. It's wrong. I looked at it last night. They were both receiving touchdowns. Either way, it doesn't matter. Saquon Barkley is not the guy. I've given up on him. The only way he's going to be able to be used in the NFL at this point is he's still very fast, very good, very athletic. He needs to be what Christian McCaffrey is for the Giants or for the Panthers. He needs to be that for the Giants, where you hand him the ball off maybe 15 times a game, and then you target him 8 to 10 times. But whatever Saquon's problem is, like, I don't know, but
I know what his problem is.
The offensive line is terrible. I completely agree.
And he has the quarterback. That's the real issue here.
I mean, Nick Chubb was just fine when Baker Mayfield was there.
And Baker's better than Daniel Jones.
At the time? During Baker's second season? I don't know.
Jones has
I'm just saying.
given the ball away
I'm just saying, I have always been a Saquon fan. I think would have been an incredibly exciting NFL player. He's just never going to be that, though. Like unless he can find his way off of the Giants roster in 2 years or less, like he's not going to be one of the elite running backs because I don't know if it's he doesn't trust his own body or his knees, but like 15 carries for 54 yards or whatever it was, that's not good. So I just don't think he's ever going to be that Pro Bowl type running back that we all thought he was going to be. And he's going to be a solid NFL running back, which is great. But once again, that's why you never select a running back with the second overall pick. I mean, even if you just look at it now, the fact that Saquon Barkley went 2 overall in that draft, and Najee Harris went at 22nd. Najee Harris coming out of college was way better than Saquon Barkley. But anything to say?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I'm trying to. I think Saquon was he's different, and like it does suck, and he needs to go to a team that actually has an offensive line. Like
I agree because right now all you're doing is, we all know running backs have, well, except for your odd like Frank Gores and Adrian Petersons.
Yeah.
They have a certain amount of time they're going to be good. Like I said, if he doesn't get out of there in the next 2 years, at that point he's probably just going to sign the max extension or whatever they offer him. I don't know. I feel bad for him because I loved watching him in college. Because that year when he got drafted, the Browns had the first and the fourth pick. I wanted a quarterback and Sam Darnold, or not Sam Darnold, a quarterback. Actually, I did want Sam Darnold, I think. I wanted a quarterback and Saquon for the offense. I'm very happy that we ended up without Saquon just because I don't know what it is, but yeah, I have been less than impressed with Saquon since he got drafted.
Yeah, but I think part of that, like you look at what Chubb and Hunt do, like I think if he were on the Browns, he would be the best running back in the league, and it wouldn't even be the offensive line of the Browns everything, and they open up holes, and Saquon would take advantage right in center. And he had those, so he wouldn't even you still could have brought him in, you wouldn't need the both of Chubb and Saquon is a guy who can handle both.
Are you telling me right now if you had the choice to take Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt on your team or just Saquon Barkley, you'd take Saquon Barkley?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you wouldn't have needed to do that. They would not have gone out and done it.
Okay, I get what you're saying because the passing out of the backfield element. Yeah, I get that. Personally, right now, in my eyes, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb are far and away better players than Saquon Barkley.
To a certain extent, I agree.
And like I said, I like Saquon, and it's just the team he's on right now. If Kareem Hunt were on that team, Kareem Hunt wouldn't get a yard, or no, he'd probably get a yard, but he wouldn't be as successful as he is. And I get what you're saying. You wouldn't have to have the 2 running backs. It's more beneficial to just have 2 running backs anyways, because then you don't know what's coming at you. But yeah, no, Saquon just hasn't had it good so far. I hope he picks it up. I mean, he could be when he came out, he was Christian McCaffrey. He was Christian McCaffrey. And so I don't know. I wanted to see a different Christian McCaffrey, and hopefully maybe we will. Maybe we will. I really hope this isn't a Derrick Rose situation where he's just never the same again. But then again, that's just kind of like New York, though. They just take on old injured players and they revitalize their careers. Derrick Rose did it with the Knicks. And then Saquon's going to go to LA and then come back to New York. I don't know. Still, you got anything on that? Daniel Jones, I think he only had 1 interception, no fumbles. I mean, hell of a day. Also in a terrible position for the Giants, in my opinion, as well. I could see there being a faction of people in the front office and people in the team that think Daniel Jones can be the guy. And I think there is a lot of people in another faction that don't think Jan Jones or Matt or Daniel Jones can be the line, be the guy. So I don't know where you go with that. Do you give him if he finishes this year average? So we'll say average, like not a ton of turnovers, just an average year. Are you comfortable going in with him next year?
The real issue is there's only one guy whose opinion matters, right? There's only one guy who decides whether Daniel Jones is still able to win or not, and that's Dave Gettleman. And Dave Gettleman, his career is riding a pick because everyone was giving him heat. Everyone has been giving him heat since he picked him, and everything about it is just lead to and pointing to this being his right. If they get rid of Daniel Jones, the Giants will be getting Dave Gettleman because that's his pick and his pick alone. Everyone thought you could have at least gotten someone with that 7 pick and Daniel Jones with 17 or whatever they had next. Because I know that drafted that the big D tackle out of Clemson was 17. Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, he plays
Dexter Lawrence is the guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could have gotten Daniel Jones, and his justification was, there's another team that was going to pick him. But you go back and look at it, there was no team that was going to pick Daniel Jones before the Giants did it. But they decided, hey, we're going to take him at 7. And you look at the guys that drafted. Have you ever looked at that draft class again?
No.
I'm gonna pull it up, and you can give your 2 cents up.
What was I going to say? I had something really good in my head. I don't know. Daniel Jones, the Giants. The Giants need someone to catch the ball. How about them Cowboys? Time to light up them Giants next week. Did you see that?
How about them Cowboys?
Thanks, Cade. Yeah, I do think the Cowboys are going to beat the shit out of the Giants next week. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
I mean, kind of an asshole comment, but I agree with you. Yeah, they are going to get some asshole.
No, we don't like the. I don't know about you, but I don't like the Cowboys personally.
I don't either. I
kind of hate the Cowboys.
I hate the Cowboys, but I love Jerry Jones. All right. This one, we'll go to this one next. It's easy.
What year was Daniel Jones drafted?
21, 20.
Was he 19? A 2020 draft pick?
No, 19. 2019.
That's where I started. Maybe I just didn't see him. He was in the same draft class as Kyler Murray. Oh, yeah, he went 6, not 7. I oversighted it. Yeah.
2019 draft.
All right.
All right. Onto the Colts and the Dolphins. This one sucked. The under missed by 1.5, so that sucks. I don't know. I don't know. Carson Wentz is your boy. He played okay, I guess. I don't know. The Colts got to win. What do you got on it? Other than the under that didn't hit, I don't have much to say about this game. This is the one game like on the Sunday game on the weekend that like, if you told me this game didn't happen, I would probably believe you. Like I had no idea. I had no interest in the Colts or the Dolphins. I'm sure you did because you're an Indy. But yeah, the other thing I'd say is Jacoby Brissett is actually. I mean, they just need to keep starting him. He's actually just better than Tua, so they just need to keep starting him. In my opinion, there's no reason to bring Tua back. I would start shopping him right now to get some kind of value for him. Very least the man could throw. I agree.
I mean, We're talking about Hurts and how semi-decent Chiefs.
What did you say?
I don't know. I was just saying, we talked about Hurts didn't look that bad, but I don't know if I take for him. I mean, Jet went 20 for 30 with 199 and 2 touchdowns was really good. But watch the game; it was inspiring watching Jacoby Myers play. I mean, they those 17, I think, until they put up 3 of them in the quarter, and then they scored the 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. It was super inspiring watching Jacoby Brissett try and move the ball downfield. Part of it, I think, was play calling and an issue with the coach. But it was brutal to watch because they were not able to put anything together. The Colts, Carson Wentz went 24 for 32 for 228 and 2 touchdowns. And they had Jonathan Taylor, 103 rushing yards, 3 targets, a touchdown. They moving the ball, they were looking good, and just on a good Miami defense, I think we agree on that.
If
but everything about the Dolphins just was uninspiring.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw my tweet yesterday, but Greedy Williams intercepted a pass yesterday, and I immediately tweeted, no, that wasn't me that wanted to trade Greedy Williams in a package for Xavier Howard. That was somebody else. And my brother responded, he's like, I'm going to guess that was you. I was like, oh, yeah, of course that was me. But we'll get into that in a little bit. I mean, it's a win for the Colts. It's the Colts. I mean, they just need to find because thank God for Jonathan Taylor actually playing and putting up a good game. That was huge for me. I basically have an all-star team in Pirate now, and I'm going to be adding another all-star after crushing the competition this week. But that's just a little update on my greatness in fantasy. Yeah, I don't know what to make of this game. Like, this is another, I think I said it in the beginning, but I mean, like, this didn't happen. It told me it didn't happen. I wouldn't really care. Carson Wentz looked good. I just hope that Indy fans aren't, like, too gullible and think this is going to last. Not necessarily just Carson Wentz, but winning is going to last, because it's not. I don't think they're very good. But the Dolphins are also just really bad. So which is surprising.
The only thing.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm on a lag, and I thought you were done.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
The only thing that I have to say is we love Mo Alley-Cox. He caught another 2 touchdown passes on 3 catches. Mo Alley-Cox is the best tight end. They need to get rid of Jack Doyle. Mo Alley-Cox, Gigantor, is the future of the tight end position.
He is an animal. He's huge. All right. On to the next one. Cowboys and Panthers. Entertaining game. Unfortunately, the Panthers are not going to start 8-0. I thought that was for sure thing, but not. Dak Prescott looks really good. The 2 running backs look good together. That defense is pretty darn good, even though they play with like 17 linebackers, which I don't understand. Trayvon Diggs has been great. And as long as that offensive line can stay healthy, I mean, they're legit contenders in the NFC, I think.
I mean, I was very disappointed. I know you good together. I was very the Carolina rushing. I think Chuba only had 57 total yards. 15 rushing yards and 14 receiving yards. So I thought it was pretty uninspiring for a guy who's getting old. Seeing Mike Davis fill in last year and look Jeffrey and Hubbard, I think, is better than Mike Davis. To be like I was pretty uninspired watching him, and I keep saying that. Darnold's still really good, other than the fact that he's 2 winners. So the one ratio is like from this year. Overall, though, I agree. I thought that it was a pretty good game on the Cowboys side of things. Dak Prescott. I'm just kind of surprised. I didn't know this. He only threw 188 yards.
188?
188 yards on 4 touch passes.
That's incredibly efficient, but
He went 14 for 22. He didn't throw a ton of passes.
I would have thought you would have thrown more. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, that's weird. All right,
I think in part of just want to point out Ezekiel Elliott, 143 yards and a ton. This year, the Panthers did not let up a running back to get 35, or I think it was 37 or more yards. On the first drive, Zeke had 40 yards.
I don't know. Do we think the Packers could take that? Do you think the Packers could actually win the NFC?
The Packers, no.
Not the Packers. You know, I mean the Cowboys. Whatever. But you don't think the Packers can make to win the NFC?
No, they choke in the championship game.
Okay, so then what about the Cowboys?
Them too. Like, I can see them winning the division, but they are. I know this is like kind of weird. Like, think about it or whatever. I think that the Cowboys have a better shot at making the NFC Championship Packers, because the Packers, I think, are going to win their division, but they're going to have to play a pretty tough team in their wild card game. As I see the Cowboys playing someone on their level, but if you look at it, like, I think the Rams will finish as the 1 seed. That means like the Cardinals are going to be the 5, right? In that case, because of the same division.
Yeah.
The Packers will then have Packers. Who's the other division that I'm missing?
NFC West.
The Bucks. I think of Rams, Bucks, Packers, Cowboys, or I could see the Cowboys winning more games than the Packers. Which means if the Cowboys win more games than the Packers, the 3 seed, the Packers will have to face the Cardinals because they'll be the 5 seed, in my opinion. Whereas, who's another? I could see the Cowboys having to play the Panthers again.
We are way too early in the season to already be talking about playoffs.
I know.
Considering that we both cheer for teams that my team got lucky and made the playoffs last year, and then we both cheer for teams that it's a very, very, very good year when we make the playoffs. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. Bears Lions, everyone's favorite money line pick just fell flat on its face. I'll start with the Lions. Goff was pretty good. He didn't lose them the game. They just have no weapons outside of him, really. Michael Pittman had a good game yesterday. And Hawkinson, he had an okay day. They need to be looking at Hawkinson a lot more, in my opinion. Excuse me. Hawkinson should be their number 1 go-to guy pretty much every play, in my opinion. I don't watch a lot of them. Wait, am I talking about I'm talking about the Lions. Okay, good. I would even line him up outside wide, get a smaller corner on him. They just got to find something else. The rushing game is all right. And then for Bears fans, I don't know if I'm happy for you, if I feel bad, because Justin Fields did not look that good. Still rookie and whatever. But it was a hollow win, which means Matt Nagy is at least going to stay on for probably through the rest of the year. So that sucks for Bears fans. Because while the game plan drew up for Justin Fields yesterday was a little bit better, it still wasn't very good. So that sucks for them, but the Bears won, so good for them.
Yeah, well, and their most important offensive piece. It came out today that doesn't. I am referring to David Montgomery. It came out today that it doesn't look as bad as it initially looked, because I texted you when it happened. Like, it looked like he was like done for the year. He like fell on the ground. He was holding his knee, took his helmet off and was rolling around on the field. It looked like he was in antagonizing pain. It turns out it's not that bad, and he's just a little green, or he just was hit with shock and was excited that it was a traumatizing injury. So I think he'll be okay, but we don't know how long it's out. I'm going to be monitoring my Twitter a lot during today, waiting for that to come out. But that was scary to watch, especially because he did have such a great game. He had 106 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he carried the team. He's one of the better all-around running backs in the league. I think maybe I would say I think maybe in a year or two, I would see him as almost a little bit like comparable to Nick Chubb, but Nick Chubb is more of a power runner, or David Montgomery can more be an outside runner, is better in the pass game than Nick Chubb is. But they're both big dudes that run hard, that run fast. But yeah, no, I really, really like David Montgomery. If the Bears didn't have David Montgomery, it would be even worse than it already is for the Bears. So that's kind of all you need to say.
Mm-hmm. And just really quickly going to the other side, because I'm on the Lions at all. Goff looked amazing, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I was very surprised when you look at the rushing stats. Mm-hmm. And I understand the game script was they had to throw the ball a lot, and the Bears defense is pretty good against the run, but DeAndre Swift only had 8 touches on the ground for 16 yards, averaging 2 a carry. Jamal Williams had 14 touches on the ground for 66 yards. No one had a touchdown.
Yeah, their running game isn't good. I think they've been giving most of the running to Jamal Williams instead of DeAndre Swift, but I could be wrong.
They've actually been pretty split about it.
That could be true. I just remember in the beginning of the year because I remember Swift was like a little banged up, so they used them switching it a little bit. But yeah, once again, the Lions are never ever out of a game really with Dan Campbell as their coach. So
they on the year Swift has 1 rushing attempts, Jamal Williams has 42.
Didn't do my research, so I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I just thought it was funny. I was like, because it's been like game scripts as to who's rushing and who gets passing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You can basically count the plays that Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are going to go in. Kind of, it's interesting. Justin Fields, I still don't think he looked good. Obviously not. There's no one else there other than Montgomery to help him really. So I don't feel
Allen
as
Robinson.
bad. I mean, he's a ghost. Like he just doesn't exist anymore.
I don't get it.
I mean, if I'm Justin Fields, I'm a rookie quarterback, and I see a 6'2" guy out there that has hands, probably top 5 in the league, hands, catching. Like I throw to him every time. So I don't know. He didn't look good.
Well, he looked efficient. He went 11 for 17. He just didn't like. I really feel I've had conversations because a lot of my friends out here at school are from Chicagoland. It looks like Nagy is babying Fields. Like I understand when Cam Newton came into the league, they dumbed down the playbook to give him 1 or 2 reads he had to do. Nagy is doing that because that is trying to develop your quarterback and have to understand the game. I think Fields is of the game. I think that he's one of the better rookies that we've seen being a student of the game and understanding offense and where to read and how to do this. But Nagy's not letting him do that. Nagy's babying him. And I get wanting to get the run game going because that really does help the rookie quarterbacks. But having him throw 17 passes, none of them being for like really long passes. I want to say I didn't watch the entire game, so I could be wrong on this, but it didn't seem like he was ever throwing the ball more than 10, 15 yards down the field.
He wasn't. Yeah. So I don't know. I think Matt Nagy's already kind of his corpse is in the coffin already. Like I think he probably knows unless there's some miraculous like second half of the season that I think he's got to be canned if they don't like at least show effort this year down the stretch. But Not a ton to say about that. I mean, there were a ton of great games yesterday, and then there were a ton of just like
not great games.
Yeah, just terrible games that literally no one. I mean, go ahead.
I just want to say there is one way he can save his job, Matt Nagy, and that is to let Bill Lazor go back on plays because offense when Lazor was.
But he gave up play calling duties last year, and he just took them back this year.
Yeah, he took them back. If you look at Bill Lazor's offense last year, they were a good offense once they were out of the playoff. David Montgomery was playing at a 5-8, and I'm not saying that as honest. I'm saying stat wise, he was top 5 running back. And if Bill Lazor would start calling plays again, not only would Montgomery benefit, but else would, because Bill Lazor is actually a pretty good offensive mind, I think. For what he did last year, if Nagy wants to save his job, stick to going to defense, Lazor take over offense, but you can't really do that because you were hired in from the Chiefs after the breakout year with Mahomes to be an offense. So I really don't think that he should be a head coach anymore. Everyone kind of agreed that he should not be a head coach anymore. But if he wants to try and save his job, let his offense.
I feel you. All right. I don't have much to say about this. Buffalo, Houston. Buffalo wins 44-0. After we basically just kind of agreed all last week about how the Houston Texans are a professional football team and they'll never get blown out, or at least that's what I was thinking and saying to justify the fact that the Browns barely beat them. If you're a Bills fan, this is awesome because this shows you, even though the Texans are terrible, the Bills still didn't play perfect. Like Josh Allen wasn't the perfect player, but this is how good they can be. Like even with their players playing bad. 44-0 versus an NFL team, even if it is the Texans, is nothing to laugh at. That is your definition of ass whooping. It was a great win, and like I said, Josh Allen didn't have his great game. I'm still not fully sold on him as one of the best quarterbacks in the league going forward, but he's done his job. Once again, just for him or me, just got to clean up the silly mistakes and the silly turnovers. But yeah, no, I mean, 44-0 is nothing to laugh at.
Yeah, no, that was a good old fashioned butt kicking, and I loved seeing it because we've been kind of waiting for this offensive explosion from below.
Yep.
And even if it is against the Texans, we're kind of good with it. I also just want to point out Adam Schefter just retweeted a tweet from Mike Rock. Jaguars head coach Myers said he apologized to the team for his viral video and that people were trying to get him on the dance floor at the event and he should have just left.
We didn't even talk about that.
I know.
Right.
We sort of talked about it, but we didn't.
We'll get into Urban Meyer at the last thing. We have 3 more games and we'll get into Urban Meyer.
Yeah, we could. I just wanted to point it out.
Yeah. I can't focus my full thinking to that yet because I have so many jokes to be made on that. Yeah, I think that, especially for guys like me and you who think Buffalo are good, this is kind of what we were waiting for our reassurance, and we got it. Like I said, even though it was the Texans, 44-0 is nothing to laugh about. Washington football team in Atlanta, the game that almost ruined my parlay, that was probably my second favorite pick because I thought Atlanta was terrible. Washington gets lucky, come back, win the game. It would be nice if the Falcons, in the next 2 years, decide to implement Kyle Pitts into their system, or you could just keep not throwing it to him. I guess that works too. Yeah. And then Taylor Heineke on the last drive was really good. Feel bad for Matt Ryan. He doesn't deserve to be this, especially looking at a guy like Matt Stafford who got to switch from Detroit to LA, play for a good team. So he's probably not happy. I agree. I mean, that's pretty much all I got on that one.
Yeah, this is just a. This was one of the better games to watch, I guess, because it went down to the wire. But it also was one of the worst games to watch because no one could get anything. And then, like, yeah, they put up 30 points, but like, it wasn't like a good 30 points a piece. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think also at the end of the show, after we talk about the games and Urban Meyer, we should go over our start sit sleep because I was looking back. We both had really solid days. Not gonna lie.
Cool. All right. Well, let's pick this up real quick, and then we'll get to that. Seahawks 49ers. Did you see Russell Wilson's stat line? Only 149 pass yards. I have no idea how they won the game.
I don't know. I was watching it. I was going up against Russell Wilson in one of my leagues, and I was loving it. I was like, wait, I have DK Metcalf. And then I'm going up against Russell Wilson. I have him in, I think, 2 or 3 leagues, and I'm only going up against Russell. I'm like, all right, I'm already losing that week. Let's pick it up. Come on. Let's go DK.
Yep, I got you. I feel that. We may have seen the last of Jimmy G starting in San Francisco. Trey Lance didn't look incredible or anything yesterday, but he was solid, looked okay coming in cold. So good on him. I thought he was good. But yeah, anything else?
Not really. I didn't really watch Lance at all. You said he didn't look great, but I think that game was already over.
Yeah, he didn't look great. He didn't look bad. It was just kind of in the middle. So, yeah. All right. Now I'll do my game. Browns win 14-7. It's very possible that this defensive unit that the Browns have could be a top 10 defense by the end of the year. They have the skill and talent on paper. I mean, the defense has basically won the last 2 Browns games. They're now that they're fully healthy, or hopefully they'll be healthy and have Newsom back again next week. They could be a top 10 defense in the league. Baker Mayfield probably played one of the worst games of his career yesterday for the Browns. I'm not worried necessarily, but I would like him to play better. But yeah, they won 14-7. That's really all that matters. It was not an exciting game at all, but yeah. All right, Tom, tell us about your New York Jets.
That was one of the most up and down games I have ever watched in my life. I know I personally was sitting there watching the game, waiting for that one huge Derrick Henry, and it just never came. Like, I don't understand what happened. Like, I know we talked about it on here about the Jets had like a better run defense than a pass defense, and that gave them a better shot to win. But like, you look at Titans, Derrick Henry, yeah, he ran for 157 yards and a touchdown, but everyone was talking about Derrick Henry was about to go, 250 yards, 4 touchdowns, all this. Like, they held him to 1 touchdown. And Tannehill did not look good whatsoever. He went 30 for 49, which is terrible completion percentage. 300 yards and only 1 touchdown. I mean, it was just not a big day from the Titans offense. They sputtered, went to overtime. I literally was going to murder someone when Wilson threw the ball to, I think it was Ryan Griffin, like the 5-yard line, walked in for a touchdown, but he threw it low and hit the ground. Then they tried running a bootleg off a goal line package. Wilson ran straight into this defender that was like 200 pounds heavier than him, and to go over to coach's house right then and then, beat him up for getting our quarterback, but he ended up being all right. And then strong defense when Tennessee took over in overtime. We got extremely lucky because Randy Bullock missed a field goal and put it into it was from far out. I think it was like 44, but he had been hitting from that distance earlier. So very, very lucky win. Very fun game to watch. And I'm glad that we actually got to watch it. Because I was very, very skeptical about watching the game.
Gotcha. Yeah, no worries. I did pretty well in my picks yesterday, 3-2, parlay hit. But yeah, let's now jump on to what did you say?
Zach Wilson looked like a god.
No, it's not that far. Let's talk about Urban Meyer. I don't know how he comes back from this.
Man, this is so stupid. Like,
yeah, and if he was in college, it wouldn't have made this many rounds. If he was coaching at USC, this probably wouldn't have even made it on social media. But the fact that he's coaching by far the worst team in the NFL, and after they lose on a Thursday night game, goes out and parties on Friday night, like, whew.
Yeah, I don't understand how you can even go out and party after a devastating loss for your first win as a head coach. You're like, yeah, this is the week you go party for. Like, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, and the best part was after everyone started retweeting it, or one of those things, he ended up blocking numbers online. So, yeah,
really?
Yeah. So, it still continues to blow my mind that these guys in the public spot, not that I'm saying I would be any better at doing it. I would probably have someone teach me a class on how to do it, but how they just can't stay out of the spotlight when things are bad. And it seems like only the bad things happen. Only the bad things happen when things are already bad. So it's weird. I don't know. All right, let's pull up our stardom, stidham sleepers from yesterday. I believe me and Tom did pretty well, or at least that's what Tom is saying. Yep, I got him.
All right, let me quickly reopen the scores from yesterday so I can prove some points. Okay. So as far as my stardoms, I can safely say, and I will admit, I'm pretty sure my Brady pick as a stardom did not hit. He looked atrocious. I have nothing to say about that. But as far as the rest of my stardoms go, I had Jonathan Taylor for the Colts versus Miami. Like we said, went for 106 yards and a touchdown, I think, right? 106 and a touchdown. Corey Davis, I said, was going to go off. He ended up putting up 20 points in fantasy because he had 4 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown. I had Noah Fant as my stardom tight end, who put up – where are the Broncos? There they are. Noah Fant put up 6 catches for 46 yards, and I think that equates to around 15 fantasy points. 20, could be wrong. And then I had the Bills defense versus the Texans. Ended up putting 22 and was the best defense to start this week. So I had a pretty good week for my stardoms.
Gotcha. So I had Justin Herbert, so we'll see tonight. Then I had Dalvin Cook, who was not a healthy scratch, was healthy and played, but just didn't play a lot, which was weird. CeeDee Lamb, I have no idea how he did. That was I had it up.
Let me see.
But yeah, CeeDee Lamb, and then tight end Dawson Knox didn't really live up to it.
Good game.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he had 20 points. He had 37 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 5 catches. He had a great week.
Cool. I wish he was on one of my
CeeDee Lamb did not, though.
I don't know. And then the Titans defense, which obviously I'm not gonna lie to you, I picked them because the Jets were going up against them, and didn't matter. So, speaking of the Titans, I don't know what their identity is. I don't know what they're doing. Both the receivers they signed are hurt. I did have some injuries at the beginning that I forgot to say. Will Fuller is hurt again. I feel so bad for that guy at this point.
He can never stay healthy, but he's great when he plays.
Yeah. Sit him.
I had Tannehill as my sit him. He actually put together a better week than I had expected. He put up 18 fantasy points, which is his second best on the year. So I fluked on that. Baltimore running backs, I don't even know how many people I would need to look up to find their actual fantasy points. But Latavius Murray had 1 touchdown. He went for 60 yards, so he actually had a pretty good game. But the ball was spread around so much. I'm going to take that as big success. Kenny Golladay, I think, actually ended up having a decent day. Yeah, he put up 17. He had 116 yards on 6 catches, so I missed on that one. I missed on Mike Gesicki. Justin, I think you did you have him in your stardom?
No, he was in my sleepers.
Oh, he was in your sleepers. Gesicki had a much better day than I expected.
Oh, really?
He finally broke. He put up 6 points. He had 5 catches for 57 yards and a touchdown.
Okay.
He did not have a catch going into the fourth quarter and was only targeted once prior to the fourth quarter. So he salvaged his day with the late touchdown. He broke, quote unquote, broke his streak of having a really big game and then 4 or 5 really crappy games. But that just means that he's not going to play well the rest of the season, I'm assuming.
Yeah, he's just screwed. He's screwed.
And then everyone was playing the Carolina defense. I had him in my sit-em, and they ended up with -4. So that is another big success.
All right. Excuse me. Sit-em. Big Ben. I think that's pretty easy. I wonder what percentage he's rostered at right now.
25.
I mean, I think that's probably still too high. Running backs, Chuba Hubbard. Wide receiver, Jacoby Myers. Tight end, Mike Gesicki. In the defense, Detroit.
That's your sleepers?
No. Yeah, those are my sleepers. Did I do my sit-em yet? No, I only didn't. No, I only got to Big Ben. Yeah. All right, so sit-em, I had Damian Harris, so that's good. That worked out.
Yes.
Michael Pittman, he was pretty good for Indy. I saw his stat line. Tyler Higbee.
He only had 7.
I sat the New England defense, which
that did better than expected.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm winning my Flurry League. It's fine. It's fine.
Right.
I'll start out with slippers if you want me to.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sam Darnold.
I just don't know. He put up 33, so he had his best week of the season.
yeah, huge games. I'm kind of cheating, but whatever. And then running back, I do like Chuba Hubbard. Or I did. He did not do very well. He was pretty much average from what you said, Tom.
Yep, he had 9 when last week he had 10, so a little bit of a disappointment, but because he was a sleeper, it's not like as bad, I guess. Hard to put into words.
Yeah. All right, and then Jacoby Myers. Mike Gesicki, we already talked about him.
Myers had 16, so he was only 2 points off the season high, so that was a good pick. And then who is the defense?
Who is what?
Your defense?
The sleepers?
Yes.
Detroit, which wasn't terrible. They held them at 24, but it is the Bears, so
right.
Nothing to joke about.
For my sleeper, the quarterback was Heineke. He ended up putting up 27 points for a season high versus the Falcons.
Who's this?
Was Taylor Heineke.
Okay, yeah, good pick. Oh, yeah, he had a good game yesterday. I had him written down, talk about him in the Washington football game. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he looked good.
He looked pretty good. Put up, 27 fantasy points, which was the season high. He is now, by the way, I think the 10th ranked overall quarterback.
I believe it.
Zach Moss, I had as a sleeper. We talked about him when we were talking about him. He is now in backfield to lose. The last 3 weeks, he's put 14, 18, and 12 after not playing in week 1. He outsnapped Devin Singletary. I love Zach Moss going the rest of the season. He looked like he's going to be pretty consistent. My sleeper wideout, I have Hunter Renfrow going tonight. I think he's poised for a big game.
Yes. I will also say chime in there too. I also like Ruggs a lot because I think the Chargers are going to run a shit ton of man.
Yeah, no, I love Ruggs as well. But everyone's talking about Ruggs, so I won't be different. But yeah, no, I love both of those tonight. I think it's going to be I flopped the big Gronk pick, but that's because the Steelers suck. And then I set the Washington defense as a sleeper. I don't think they actually played that good. They got 7, which is the new season high actually for them. So they didn't have I guess, an atrocious day for fantasy purposes, but
it was the best one in a while.
Yeah, it was the best one we've seen from all year. So take that as you will. But yeah, I think overall we had a really, really solid week for starting sit and sleep.
Now that I'm looking at it, yeah, it looked pretty good. Looked pretty good. Yeah. So we got through all the games. All right. We'll do this after every week. If you had to pick your Super Bowl right now, who is it?
Pick the Super Bowl or the winner, you say?
Just the 2 teams in the Super Bowl.
Okay. I'm going with the Rams Bills because I think it's an awesome game to watch.
I'm going to go Cardinals Chiefs. Cardinals Chiefs. That's what I'll say for right now. That would be a very exciting game, I think, hopefully. But all right, I'll text you. I'll have this up later tonight. I'll text you. Well, I got to end the broadcast. Any last words, buddy?
Let's go Dogs and jet up, I guess. One game a year, I'll get jet up.
How's that?
It's like the Jets thing that they put on Instagram today. They said jet up.
Oh,